When you're thinking the brand Viktor and Rolf, first thing that comes to mind is probably Spicebomb. You know what comes to my mind? Antidote. They're going head to head in this one. Let's go. YouTube's favorite designer fragrance tournament continues. The clock starts now. Number 30 goes head to head versus number 71. What's going on, YouTube fragrance family? Welcome to Mark Madness to see which fragrance will be YouTube's king of the designer game. The contestants today will go with the underdog, which is no longer the underdog, I think. This is Spicebomb from the house of Viktor and Rolf. And also from the house of Viktor and Rolf, we got number 30 here, Antidote. Now these scores of course come from my top 100 designer releases way back. I think 5 years ago I released that video, my top 100. This would have been probably much higher in the rating. I think that was a newish release back in the day when I compiled this list. I think this was the newest release on that whole lineup. I could be wrong, but it did very well as far as a brand new release. So I know that popularity right now, Spicebomb is probably going to demolish Antidote, but this thing is really, really, really good. And that's why it's number 30 on my list. They're both from the Fragmental bracket. His link is down below. Go check out his channel. And of course, subscribe. Now let's take a look at the contestants. We'll start it off with, of course, this is, what am I doing here? Just wanted to make sure these are fresh. Last time they weren't. So we'll start with, of course, the underdog. Let's take a look at it. Spicebomb. And Spicebomb, again, like I said earlier, not really the underdog, but when I think Spicebomb, I'm thinking cinnamon. That's my first thinking when I smell this fragrance. It is the number one spice in this particular fragrance. So, yeah, great use of cinnamon. There's some tobacco in this fragrance. It has some darkness to it. It has some pink pepper, a little bit of bite to the fragrance too. Not as spicy as the name says, but still has a good amount of spice. Longevity and projection, they're both decent with this fragrance. This is a solid release. Great for the upcoming fall that is going right now. This is perfect for that. It's easy to wear during fall. I like to wear this almost all the time, day, night, even though it's better for night. Fall, it's almost all the time. It's just a really good, comforting scent. This may be the staple of Viktor and Rolf, but the one coming up was holding down the fort for the longest time. And of course, I'm talking about this one right here. Now let's take a look at Antidote from Viktor and Rolf, of course. This one right here, very much a fragrance that I highly recommend to my subscribers. If you're new to the fragrance game, you haven't heard of this, you already own this, or you've already smelt this fragrance. This one, you know, it's the word that comes to mind when smelling this fragrance, and I think I said it in my fragrance review on this way back when, complexity comes to mind. It's a very complex scent. When describing Antidote, that is the first word that comes up. This fragrance really does scream out all season to me, every single season, year-round, signature scent type of fragrance. It utilizes the signature cinnamon that's in here, but very less potent. Really nothing. I know lavender is huge in here, some florals, there's some sweet notes too, some green notes, some spices, but cinnamon also, and some florals. This fragrance is all over the place. It just feels like a perfumier had like a whole bunch of leftovers of everything and didn't have enough to make a particular fragrance and just decided to put everything in the pot. And this is what you get, Antidote. And a good one. I really like this one. It has very good longevity. It lasts on my skin. The projection's not that great on this one. It's subpar. But you can dress this one up. You can dress it down. And again, signature scent worthy. Antidote. Really, really good scent, and that's why it's so high on my top 100 list. So, Viktor and Rolf Showdown. This is back-to-backs. We had two Zials going head-to-head yesterday. Now we got two Viktor and Rolf. So what are the odds of that? So, these two, this is a showdown that I can't wait to see what the score is. I'm anticipating the underdog to win, to be quite honest with you. but I know there's some true frag heads out there that are going to vote for Antidote. So kudos to you guys out there. I know who you are. So if you're new to this, this is a very simple, straightforward contest here. I have 2 fragrances in front of me. You get to vote. If you have a YouTube name, you get to vote. These 2 scents go head to head for 24 hours. There's a 24-hour shot clock that starts when this video is uploaded on YouTube. Once it's closed, it's closed. I put the brackets in the title that says closed, and you can still vote, but it won't count of the tally. How do they win? Of course, you guys. You guys are the ones that are voting for these fragrances. One of them is going to go in round 2 and the other one's gone forever. So that's how these fragrances will win. Please be very clear in your votes. You can be a little interesting in your votes. I certainly appreciate that, but I don't have time to kind of figure out what you guys are trying to say. There are 2 PDFs down below of the heart and the base note brackets. You can follow along. I'm trying to shoot these daily. Please, I do apologize. I don't do it daily, but I'm trying to as much as I can. When I have time, I'm going to shoot these and do as much as I can. But you can follow along and see which ones win and which ones lose. You can print the PDFs or you can save them on your computer. It's up to you. And of course, we do have some results that are in. I'm going to put the 2 Viktor&Rolf brothers away. The results are in for the Dreamer and John Varvatos Vintage, of 2 fragrances that I absolutely like, especially for fall. These 2 do very, very well during this season. This one was fairly close, to be quite honest with you. I really felt like the Dreamer was going to run away with it, but Vintage gave it its money, its run for its money. So I'm very, very happy about that. So with a score of 58 to 42, yes, Vintage, you're gone. So another John Varvatos hits the road, and Versace has another pony in the race for the second round. So the Dreamer moves on in the second round. So thank you everybody that has voted in, of course, that bracket. And if you voted today, thank you so much for voting today in this bracket, the Viktor&Rolf bracket. So thank you again and have a good one.